Well, hey everyone, how are things? It's metal, so let's get started with this Blu-ray update for you guys because I haven't done one in quite a long time. So let's get right into it. It's been like a whole fucking year at this point, so let's get started. So the first Blu-ray that I have here is Don't Breathe. Okay, yeah. So first off, I'm gonna start with the Blu-rays first. Yeah, and then I'll get into the music stuff, and then I'll get into the Blu-ray. Well, the video game stuff later. So yeah, Don't Breathe 2 on Blu-ray. Really enjoyed this sequel. Very solid. I did see this one in the theaters, and I've actually had this Blu-ray for quite a while, ever since it came out. So yeah, it's been in my possession for a long time. So there you go. Don't Breathe 2. Solid sequel. Not quite as good as the first one, but still really enjoyed it. Jennifer's Body, just upgraded that to Blu-ray. Fun little horror comedy. I really do like Amanda Seyfried, probably the most. That she was by far the most interesting and really hot actress, and just in general. So there you go. Van Helsing. This is a really fun monster hunter kind of movie. Yeah, really did enjoy this one, like vampire-ish kind of movie. I did upgrade this one to Blu-ray too. I had the DVD for many years. Same with Jennifer's Body. Also had the DVD for many years, but traded those in, sold them, and got the Blu-rays, and they look better. So there you go. Moving on. Scream 2022. Absolutely enjoyed this one. Surprised me like a hell of a lot. And this is the first Scream flick that's not by Wes Craven. And I'm not sure if Kevin Williamson wrote this one. I'm still not 100% sure on that. Let me look on the back here. I'm not quite sure, but nevertheless, surprisingly, really enjoyed this one. I did see this one in the theaters as well. Really good, just continuation of that franchise, and I hope to see more in the future. So moving on. Bikini Girls on Ice. This is like a really cheesy, silly slasher horror flick. Actually quite enjoy it. Psycho 2, really good sequel. Really enjoyed that one. Eurotrip. Yeah, this one is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I really love this movie. And I actually do have the theatrical R-rated version that has a completely different cover on it. And this is the unrated version. I just bought this recently. And I'm not entirely sure I'm not entirely certain what the difference really is, but I'm excited to find out, and we'll be watching this Blu-ray really soon. So, yeah, I'm glad to have it in my possession for now, just for now, until I get around to it. It's cool to have it to the collection. It's cool to add it in there, and I'm just overall glad it's in my possession now. So, moving on. Promising Young Woman. I just recently watched this one not that long ago, and wow, this is a really well made movie, and like overall, just a great movie, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So, moving on. Red 2 actually liked better than the first Red. There was just so many things that it just improved upon the first movie, just in my humble opinion. So I'm glad to have that in the collection. And the only music-related thing that I have in this update is Slipknot, their final record. Supposedly as of now, this is their final record. Really love Corey Taylor. Really love Slipknot as a band. So that's why I got that. This is a brand new pickup. It's actually still sealed. Haven't really listened to the CD yet, but I've heard most of the tracks online already. And man, this is a fucking awesome album. Like just in general, this is just so great. I'm glad to finally have it. Yeah, and the album is called The End So Far. So, yeah, really awesome. I've always loved this band, and I will continue to support it. Moving on. Yeah, Silent Hill Homecoming. Yeah, and as you guys might know, or actually, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I think I finally came to the conclusion that the Sony PlayStation 3 is my favorite system ever, like my favorite video game console, like of all time. I came to that conclusion not that long ago. Might have been a year or two ago. I came to that conclusion, but yeah, I picked up a bunch of PlayStation 3 games. Some of them were pretty expensive, but a lot of them were actually fairly cheap. And a lot of them I did buy at my local used bookstore. That's not too far away from me. It's not too far of a drive from here. So yeah, glad to have picked up and bought like quite a bit of them. Over the past couple of months. To a year and so on. So yeah, they're good. That's the first one, Silent Hill Homecoming. I love the Silent Hill franchise. I've only played 2 and 3, and I really do enjoy the franchise, and I love survival horror. So there you go. That's that one, and then the Bourne Conspiracy. I got this for super cheap at a used bookstore. Haven't played it yet, but I'm sure I'm sure it's not too bad for a few bucks that I paid for it. Moving on. Need for Speed Undercover. I actually did used to have this on PSP, and I upgraded to the PlayStation 3 version. So yeah, there you go. Glad to have that in the collection. And so my goal with the PlayStation 3 is to collect definitely most of the titles, like most of the library, the vast majority of the library. Probably not every game that was ever released for it, but I definitely want to get I'm at least a vastly good chunk of the library, because I just have so much passion for this console. It's unreal. It's really it really is a fantastic machine. I just love the Sony PlayStation 3 like dearly. So yeah, but moving on. So I got a few of the Lord of the Rings games here. The Lord of the Rings. Yes. Okay. So yeah, this is the Lord of the Rings, War in the North. Yeah, it looks, it actually looks pretty cool, and it's actually rated M for mature, so that's pretty interesting. I'm excited to finally try this one out, and then the Lord of the, I can't speak today. The Lord of the Rings, Organ's Quest. I believe there's a few more of the Lord of the Rings games that I'm actually missing that's on the PlayStation 3. Yeah, and I believe there's 2 Lego adaptations of the Lord of the Rings that I don't have, and then there's one other standalone game that was like an early PlayStation 3 game. I believe it was called the Lord of the Rings Conquest or something like that. I'm not quite sure of that one, so not entirely sure. But I at least have 2 of them, so that's at least really nice. And then Virtual Fighter 5, NASCAR 14. I'm not really huge on sports games, but since this is technically a racing game also, now I know this is technically a sports title, but it's also a racing game, and I love racing games and I love cars, so that's why I got that one. I'm actually going to be collecting most of the NASCAR titles, as well as like the like some of the hockey games are pretty fun too, so I'll probably be tackling that one, like all those, sometime in the near future. Just Cause 2, Fear 3. I actually did beat the first 2 games on the PlayStation 3 many years ago, and then I sold those copies, but I do plan on buying those back eventually, so I did pick up the third one. I'm interested in trying this one very soon too, so yeah, that looks really interesting. And then Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which is like the remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so that's I think I did try a little bit of this already, and I'm really enjoying it. And then on to the original Xbox, I don't have too many games that I picked up for the original Xbox, but I did pick up one. And that is Bistro Cupid. This is a Japanese exclusive original Xbox game, so this is region locked, so I cannot play it like whatsoever. The only way I can play this game is if I modify my original Xbox or import a Japanese original Xbox, which I don't really plan on doing. So this will probably be one original Xbox title that I probably won't ever play, but it's great to actually have it like boxed and complete, with the disc, the manual, everything, and it's in great condition. So I'm glad to have it. And then last video game that I picked up is Lollipop Chainsaw. I used to have this game many years ago on the PlayStation 3. And I actually beat that game, in I think in like two settings. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. And then I sold it for financial reasons. And so I picked up the Xbox 360 version simply because the PlayStation 3 version now is like going for lots of money, like on eBay now. It's like it's becoming a pretty rare game on the PlayStation 3 now. It's not very easy to find, and a lot of used game stores don't really carry the PS3 version. And then it's still going for fairly fucking expensive amount of money on eBay. So it's maybe like sometime down the road I will track down the PS3 version, but for now I rebought it for the Xbox 360, and that's perfectly fine for now. So there you go, Lollipop Chainsaw. And then I only have a few DVDs that I actually picked up, which I don't really buy too many DVDs anymore, but there are a few that are not available on Blu-ray at this moment that have not been released on Blu-ray. And the first one I got is Night of the Living Dead 3D. This is actually the second remake, and I actually think this is actually the best one, in my humble opinion. So I'm glad to have that one. And Saturday Morning Mystery. I don't think this is on Blu-ray either. I don't think it ever got released on Blu-ray, but I hope sometime soon it does eventually. But I got this because I saw the trailer for it and looked really interesting. So I got that one. It's actually still sealed. So, and then Temple Falls, I got that one because it looked really cool as well. So there you go. That is basically all of my physical media pickups, all movies, music related, and video game related. So until next time, everybody, take it easy, guys, and take care, everyone.